Do you know where you are? Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan, do you know where you are?
He could be anywhere, in any corner of the world, where patients trust medical professionals brave enough to hold a life in their hands without hesitation, where there are people who take what is known scientifically and challenge themselves to go beyond. People who are not just practicing medicine, they are creating it.
Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan? Do you know where you are?
He could be anywhere. He just happens to be here.
Up next on Focus on Diversity, Don Imus reference to Rutgers basketball women as nappy-headed hoes, and also an anatomically correct sculpture of Jesus Christ in chocolate, and also our weekly update of our Mark Belling boxing challenge. That's up next on Focus on Diversity. It's right here. It's right now.
Focus on Diversity with Troy Shaw.
Hello, my name is Troy Shaw, and welcome to the Focus on Diversity program. Let's get directly into introducing our guest. First, we have Michael Maxwell, a local attorney right here in southeastern Wisconsin. We also have Michael Holt. He is the editor of the Milwaukee Community Journal. We also have Robert Miranda. He is the editor of the Milwaukee Spanish Journal. Gentlemen, let's get directly into our first topic. And our first topic is simply this. It's all over the news. Don Imus. Don Imus apparently has a problem with black women basketball players who have tattoos. Apparently, he characterized them as nappy-headed hoes. Now, this wasn't something that was said first and then he just repeated it. These are out of his words in the context of him trying to be, quote unquote, in his words, being funny. Michael, what do you think about this guy here?
Well, you know, there are certain fighting words, and I think he's really crossed over. You know, I don't have a problem with the nappy part. He did try to infer it as being a negative, but, you know, according to my reading of the Bible, Jesus had nappy hair, so I don't take too much offense with that. But to call black women hoes, and then let's put this in proper context. These were basketball players who attend one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about UW Parkside, and I'm not diminishing the importance of UW Parkside, but we're talking about one of the top 20 universities in the United States. These are intelligent women. And to refer to them as hoes is not just an affront to black folks, but to women around the country. And if you heard the press conference of the women, they were very articulate. Mm-hmm. They were graceful. You know, for him to lower these standards. Another thing I'm really upset about is I have not heard anything from feminist organizations standing up to defend these women. And also, why didn't he say straight hair hoes? Because there's some white women on the basketball team as well.
And that's very interesting, but is this just too much, Michael? I mean, we got the media all over Don Imus. He's suspended for 2 weeks. He ain't gonna make no money. I wonder if that suspension would pay. Is this just too much going towards one guy for comments like that?
No. I think that I'll defend his right to say whatever he wants. He just has to pay the consequences. Mm-hmm. And the consequences when somebody says something like this is to hit him in the pocketbook, go after the advertisers, go after his show. I don't know that the guy should be fired or resign. Or that's up to the people that employ him. If he starts losing enough money, it'll be an economic decision. Mm-hmm. You know, but I defend his right to say anything, just as I would defend Michael McGee Sr.'s right to say some of the garbage that he says on his radio program. I mean, people have the right to say what they want to say. People have the right to listen to him or not listen to him.
Free speech. And look, speech costs money. Okay, let's just be honest with that, okay? Because speech, whether you say it this way or that way, costs money in one context or the other one. Should this man be fired?
Well, this is not free speech. This is hate speech. This is all part of his mantra. He's trying to put himself out there as a political commentator. This guy knows what he's doing. And he's so well versed in what he's doing that he began his tour de remorse and starting the waltz of apology out there, trying to get people to forgive him. This is the same kind of ridiculous nonsense that these guys who push the envelope on speech over the radio continue to do once they get caught. And then they hope that everybody will forget about it. This guy needs to be fired. He needs to be thrown
Argument
out.
is that black folks go around saying this, specifically black rappers and black comedians go around saying nappy-headed hoes every time they get the chance to. And yet, when you have Don Imus saying it in a supposedly funny context, the entire country goes
Well, number
goes
one,
crazy.
it wasn't funny. Number two, not all black
they laughed
rappers
about it,
use.
don't they?
Well, they did. He and his producer. The Al Sharptons of the world didn't laugh about it. The outrage from the media implies at least that the majority of American citizens didn't find it to be humorous. But we can deal with that dichotomy. But it's like saying everybody robs a bank, so I should be able to rob the bank, and I shouldn't be accused.
But black folks say this
some
right
black
now.
people, but some black
We
people
market it, Mark.
But they're part of what I call they're
we don't
victims
market
of
none of that.
yeah.
We don't have control of those markets.
I'm saying it's being marketed. We allow it to be marketed, Mike. In regards to rappers saying this, and we aren't all over the record companies for doing
No,
it.
we are. But there's been national boycotts and demonstrations. Some engineered by black women organizations because of some of this offensive language. It's not acceptable in the larger black community, and we don't excuse it. We criticize them. Many of these rappers are themselves, as we see it, victims of a slave mentality. So their self-degradation is not applauded by the majority of African Americans.
Well, this is a free country. This is a model of why we have a Constitution, why we have a Bill of Rights. He's free to say whatever he wants to say. We're free to disagree with it and to go after him in the pocketbook, go after him with his advertisers and with his show. This is America at its best.
Okay, we roll into our next topic right here. The arrest of 2 South Carolina women teachers on charges of having sex with their male students has brought cries of racism in one of South Carolina's most conservative counties and invokes some of the South's oldest, deepest racial taboos, mostly because the teachers are Caucasian, but almost all of the victims here are African American. I mean, is there a double standard right now, Mike?
Well, there's a double standard as it relates to whether or not it's women dealing with young boys, whether it's men. If this was an adult male teacher, having sexual relationships with a girl, they would have thrown the book at him. But, we have, these double standards in America where we don't view it as a crime. But beyond that, if you take advantage of someone who is young, who cannot make rational decisions of their own, then you are exploiting those individuals. And that's what, and it seems like this is becoming more and more of a phenomenon around the country. It seems like there's not a week that goes by I don't read about some teacher or something.
Is there something in the water, something in the food with these women? Are we not man enough no more? What? I don't know what's going on.
We don't know about you, but
you know what I'm
get
saying. Mike, here we're talking about these teachers here, Caucasian teachers, African American students. The mantra is right now that they would be severely punished if it was the flip side, if there were black teachers that were doing it to white children. What's your thoughts?
Well, we don't know. Because they haven't gone through a trial, they haven't
don't
been
know.
sentenced. We don't know if they're going to be treated differently or not. All that we can look at thus far is what's been set for bail in terms of this case, and the bail that was set in terms of this case was very reasonable for any other kind of action of this kind. It had nothing to do with them being white and the kids being black. The bail, I think, was reasonable because bail is really about getting you to the next court appearance. It's not a punitive measure. It's not a sentencing part of your sentence. It's just getting you to the next court appearance. They had $100,000 on one, $125,000 on the other, electronic monitoring. That seems reasonable to me.
When you go to the website of the area and you read the various local articles, you see a lot of articles coming out almost trying to find a way to excuse the action by saying these people work in stressful jobs, they're not thinking rationally. I sense in those articles that these women are being treated differently because if they were black men with little white girls, those articles would probably be a little bit more harsh against the district itself.
And enough said on that because that's man's right. And when we come back, we continue our diversity discussion. Stay with Focus on Diversity. We'll be right back. Travel accommodations provided by Midwest Airlines, the official airline for Focus on Diversity.